Should Dallas take Ruggs even if they re-sign Amari Cooper?
If he's there, you're pretty damn tempted by it, aren't you? I don't think he's there in the end, so I think it ends up being more of a moot point. I think there's a chance maybe one of those receivers is still on the board. I would strongly consider it. I kind of want to know who else is on the board. If I re-sign Randall Cobb, how do I get all those guys in the field? If I didn't bring back Cobb, we're going to score all the points. Let's do it.
Let's go to Sir Lister. I haven't said sister of Smeg. Sir Lister of Smeg. Would James Morgan fit the Raiders' offense? And if so, where does he like to go in the draft? So James Morgan is a player that the Raiders have talked about a few times. I expect him to go like 5th, 6th, maybe 7th round. Yes, he is interviewed with the Raiders, but he's got a big-time arm, but it is such a funky delivery for me. Where'd he go? Florida International, I believe is where he went to school.
And before that, he was at Bowling Green.
To me, though, James Morgan is a John Gruden product. Just like he thought he could make Nathan Peterman into something, I think he might think that James Morgan could be something. However, I don't want James Morgan.
This is a guy that for his career completed 57.2% of his passes, 58 this past year. He did have a 65% year, but that's not really meeting many of the thresholds you look for. He certainly counts as a sleeper.
Yeah.
I'm just not that interested. He has the arm, but that's kind of all you're banking on. You're banking on building up everything else. That's a multi-year project.
It's a funky delivery. Let's go to Winston Shan. What up, dude? If the Cowboys pick a wide receiver in the first round, are you comfortable putting Gallup in the slot?
I'm going to put all those guys in the slot. Because in this scenario, because if you're putting Gallup in the slot, that means you brought back Cooper.
Yep.
Henry Ruggs, Judy, CeeDee Lamb, maybe a little bit less so Lamb, but especially Judy, all those guys can play the slot.
Yep.
So I'm going to let them all play different positions, and Gallup can play the slot as well, too. So, yeah, I feel fine doing that because now I got 3 dynamic options at the receiver spot.
Let's go to Jason Douglas. Will the Raiders trade out of the first round completely?
Do you want to go on 3?
Sure.
All right. 1, 2, 3. No.
The draft is in Las Vegas. I think the Raiders fans would maybe burn down the entire thing. I mean, I will. All right, what pick do you think is more likely that they trade?
19.
12 or 19? Yeah, I think
19.
it's easily 19.
Now, 19, they could trade down a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
But you got 2 first-round picks. There's no NFL team is going to do that. There's just no way.
I mean, yeah,
just no way.
Sorry. Let's go to Why Not. What's up, man? If Kristian Fulton, cornerback out of LSU, falls to the Chiefs, would they draft him, and why? Likes the potential. First off, man, if you like NFL draft potential, go check out Tom's mock drafts on the channel. He puts them out. I think, your last one was a few days ago.
Yep.
Again, subscribe, turn on the notification. So, Kristian Fulton, talk to me.
If he's there, I think they have to take him.
Yep.
I think he fits what they want to do, so scheme-wise, they're fine there. I am a little curious what ends up happening to Kristian Fulton because there are some of the ESPN NFL Network guys that are more closely entwined to their sources, and their mock drafts are what we're told could happen, and less of what we think could or should happen, more like, hey, the NFL's not as high as this guy. And guys like Kuiper and McShay have left Fulton out of round 1, and I don't know why. He's a really good corner. He has allowed sub 45% completion percentage in back-to-back years. Breaks up a ton of passes at LSU. That's valuable. He can play man-to-man coverage. He's a good athlete. He has some of the ball skills that you want. There of course are some concerns there. There was the drug test earlier in his career at LSU. He plays a little bit too comfortable on slants, just kind of doesn't get close enough to his guy. Not great length, not a great tackler. But he should go in the top 20, top 25. If he doesn't, Chiefs should consider moving up for him, frankly. That'd be great value for Kansas City.
So, LSU, Kristian Fulton. How about this? Shout out your favorite college football team. For me, grew up in Central Pennsylvania. I'm going to shout out Penn State. We are. If there's any Penn State fans in there, let me hear you. Tom, who's your favorite college football team?
Look, Miami of Ohio, the Red Hawks, of course, my alma mater. I always love them. I'm a Texas guy, too, although it's not like I'm a diehard Texas fan. It's one of those where I don't feel fair saying I'm a Texas fan. It kind of feels almost insulting to real Texas fans, you know?
That's fair.
But Miami.
The Popo says Texas.
Red Hawks.
Caleb Umholt says the Penn State. Roll Tide Roll from Carlton. The Ponzik also says Texas Longhorns. Penn State from Jason Wolf. I see you. Let's go to GTS, or it could be just GT Smart 821. Maybe I'm not smart. Should the Cowboys wait on a wide receiver until deeper into the draft?
I think this is actually a fair question for a bunch of different NFL teams. So I'll kind of approach it more from that standpoint. That it's a good question to have, but you also, yes, you can get value late, but you also don't want to miss on great prospects. you don't want to pass on a CeeDee Lamb and end up getting a Brandon Ayuk and go, got Brandon Ayuk, feeling great, just as good. Not quite the same. So you do want to factor in the value of positions, but you don't want to take it to an extreme and go, hey, we passed on better players to get better value, but our draft ended up being not as good. So that's a factor you must consider. So for teams like the Cowboys, if the Raiders want to double dip as well, a variety of teams, the Jets potentially that need a receiver, maybe not in round one, you can wait, but don't pass on a great player because you think you can get value later on. That's a bad way to draft both real life and fantasy too.
Let's go to this next guy who's Steve, who's apparently friends with Dylan, and now I know why his last name is an L. Who should the Browns select at number 10? Throw it in the comments section. Tom, who do you think the Browns are going to take at 10? Go check out his mock draft.
Best offensive lineman on the board.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Best.
So that's probably going to be one of Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. That's going to be one of Mekhi Becton out of Louisville.
Gotcha.
Or Jedrick Wills. You just take the best guy, and then you're in fantastic shape.
All right, let's go to my man, the Ponzik Show. Pittman from USC. What round will someone get him? So I like Michael Pittman Jr. However, for me, I know you always say don't draft the jersey or the helmet, draft the player. But I am a little bit worried about Michael Pittman. He just doesn't do anything for me that's spectacular. He has good size to me, but he's in a funky place.
He's not the same caliber of player as this comp I'm about to throw out. He's not that caliber of player, but you use him in a similar way. Michael Thomas.
Whew.
That is the way you use Michael Pittman. He's not going to be a great deep threat, but he's got great hands. He's a solid route runner. He's a possession receiver. He's not Michael Thomas. Please do not say, wow, you come to the Michael Thomas. No, I'm saying you use him in that way.
Okay.
I think it's a deep receiver class. Maybe he sneaks into the back end of day 2. That's where I'm going to have him graded out, I think. But if he's there in round 4, if I need a receiver, I'm jumping at the chance to draft him. I think he's going to be a good NFL player.
And I'm jumping at the chance to get some jerseys. Listen up, chatsports.com/jersey sale. All Nike jerseys now under $80. Remember, this is a price drop.
Yeah.
Jersey deal.
It's right there on screen.
Price drop under $80. Chatsports.com/jersey deal. But it's all deals of all teams.
Yeah, all kinds of teams, all types of players as well, different colors too. We'll put that link in the comments and the description for you guys. So all you have to do is go click and shop. It is chatsports.com/jersey deal.
Let's go to why not get yourself a jersey? Raekwon Davis to the Cardinals in the later rounds. Would it be good or other D-line?
Look, if you get him in the later rounds, yeah. I'm not sure where Raekwon Davis is going to go. If you define later rounds as day 3, I'm on board with that. I'm not sure he's going to be there. Raekwon Davis had one great year 2 years ago.
Yep.
And then his sack and his pressure rates have never been the same. He just doesn't bring you enough in the passing game. But if you want that big, long guy who looks the part and is a really good run stopper, Raekwon Davis can do that very well for you. That role is just not as valuable, though, as it was 10, 15, 20 seasons ago.
Let's go to Brett Fine. Should the Pittsburgh Steelers draft Jacob Eason?
I think here's the issue. If you're going to get Eason, I think you'd have to spend your second-round pick on him if you're Pittsburgh, since there's no first, no third. And then you're kind of stuck where you just spent your best draft capital on a quarterback. Your team's not better leaving the draft. Like, you're the exact same team. What do you do with the other 2 quarterbacks you've drafted? So I think for Pittsburgh, even though this isn't the best long-term strategy, for the short-term, unless you believe in Jacob Eason, which I don't know if you should, don't take a quarterback this year. Just figure that out later. Get a better roster around Big Ben now. Go all in on winning. And then if you need to tank for a year or 2, go that route. Your window is now with Big Ben getting back healthy. Focus on building your team that way.
Let's go to my man Dalton Smith. Anthony Gordon to the Saints. He could be a steal for the Saints. Again, make sure that you guys are using #draft, or you can super chat to get your questions here on the show. And if we miss any of your questions, remember, go hit up Tom at What Going Downey. All right, Tom. Anthony Gordon, Washington State.
First off, I was early on Gordon. You can go back and look at one of our earlier sleeper videos. He was on there. But now he's mentioned so much as a sleeper. I wonder if Gordon's getting into the he's so underrated, he's overrated category. So I'm very curious to see what ends up happening on that front. I like Anthony Gordon. I think he's a darn good player. I think he's got a lot of upside. I think he's an early day 3 pick. And yes, if he goes to the right system like the Saints, I think he could end up being a steal.
Let's go to Jason Wolf using hashtag.
We're going to get to a different question here.
We'll go to a different question. And remember that you're using hashtag draft. Get your questions here on the show. What are the chances of the Raiders taking a slot corner late in the draft, moving Joyner to safety?
Take this one here.
So I understand that LaMarcus Joyner had a pretty bad year, and yes, I am a believer that the Raiders should move him back to safety. I think it's a reason why you could see them move on from Carl Joseph. However, all the reports right now do indicate that they're going to try to keep Joyner in the slot because he was a little bit unhealthy. We'll see what the Raiders do. They have some money to spend, but yes, they need to add a lot of talent to defense. All right, let's go to my man Jason. Sorry, Jason. Why isn't Tyreek Hill why isn't Hill the wide receiver from Ohio State considered a higher ranked wide receiver?
Hill is limited in what he's going to do in the NFL. Now, I like KJ Hill. Don't get me wrong on that. I think I'm going to have about a 4th round or so grade on him. But he's going to be a slot receiver. That is his role. He checks all those boxes. He had a really good Senior Bowl. I think he's going to be really good in that area. But there isn't a track record of downfield usage. Let's see. 2019, he had 14 targets of passes 10-plus yards downfield. That's it. 32 over the past 2 years. That's not a lot. That is a very limited amount. Now, part of that is the Ohio State offense had a pretty rough combine, quite frankly. Ran a lot slower than I thought he was going to be. So a slot receiver who is going to win in the short area of the field carries value. That he is, I think, going to be a good NFL pro. But it doesn't carry as much value as a slot receiver who can go further downfield. He is less in the Randall Cobb mold, maybe a little bit more in that Cole Beasley type of mold. He's going to be a good player, but he doesn't do as many different things as other prospects do in a really good receiver class. He's going to be a good player, but he just doesn't bring you enough of that downfield threat ability that you want out of a higher-ranked prospect.
So how many rounds of the NFL draft do you watch? The answer here is 7. I want every single person watching to type 7 because we're going to be live for all 7 rounds of the NFL draft. And make sure that you guys are subscribed because we were the #1 most watched YouTube channel last year for the NFL draft, mainly because of this guy at What Going Downy. But seriously,
same rule if they try and take me off air, I quit during the NFL draft.
Oh, we will
same policy here from me.
We will be in Vegas. So subscribe, hit that big red button. Again, it's youtube.com/chatsportstv. We'll put it in the comments. We'll put it in the description. Make sure you guys are tuning in all 7 rounds. Tom and I are literally live for like 23 hours.
It's a lot. It's all of the hours.
It's bananas. Let's go to the Popos. What's up, my man?
It's the draft, Mitch.
Is Denzel Mims worth a late first-round pick? Here we go.
I think he is.
Okay.
Look, you're certainly banking a little bit on some
You're
upside.
You're killing my Raiders mock draft
Sorry,
right now,
buddy.
Tom.
Hey, look, man, you go back to that first Cowboys mock draft, I got all the good prospects because it's a simulation. Things get weird. He does so much of what you want. He's even just looking at the athletic profile only. 6'3", 207, a 4.38 40-yard dash, the Devils 3-cone of 6.66. Like, he checks and great vertical and broad jumps as well. He does everything you want. He's a great in contested catch along the sidelines. Now, his route running needs some work. He's still a bit on the rawer side, but in a great receiver class, yeah, I think Denzel Mims, I was going to have him maybe more as a early day 2 guy before that combine. Combines matter to me. Maybe more than it should, but they do matter. Yeah, I'm going to look into taking him in round 1. I liked him coming in. He's a better athlete than I thought. I thought he was going to blow it up. He exceeded my expectations. That's how good it was.
Let's go to Issa Harsani.
Close enough.
Should the Chargers go up the draft to take Tua or sit at 6? I think the Chargers sit at 6.
If you believe Tua is the guy and you think Justin Herbert, for example, is not, then you go get your quarterback. In reality, and it's certainly a gamble, but at the quarterback position, if you think somebody is your guy and is going to be your franchise quarterback for the next decade plus, give up whatever you have to. Because the alternative is you end up getting stuck kind of like where the Broncos have been the past couple of years.
Yep.
Just for example, first thing that came to mind, where you've kind of waited, you tried Paxton Lynch, you missed on some guys, you've bounced around. The Cowboys in between Aikman and the Tony Romo era. If you think you have your guy, go get him. Because if you're right, it's worth it. And if it's not, well, you already lost your job anyway.
All right. Oh,
That's the nature of it.
No, you're right. You're
Most guys
right.
don't get to draft 2 quarterbacks.
Right.
Unless you're Steve Keim somehow, in which you can get a DOI and take 2 quarterbacks and 2 head coaches in back-to-back years. Crazy, right?
So you are watching NFL Daily, but at BetDSI, the Internet's #1 sportsbook, you can also bet on who you think is going to win the NBA title. So we have the latest title odds. Lakers, Bucks, they're the top 2 teams. Clippers, Celtics, Rockets. I think the most intriguing team on that list was the Clippers. And if you want to bet on who's going to win the NBA title, you can do it at BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120. It's going to get you 120% deposit bonus. We'll put it in the comments. We'll put it in the description. And let us know who you guys are betting on for the NBA title. All right, let's go to the hashtag draft here from Caleb. And again, we will, if you super chat us, we will do our best to get you up on the screen. If you were Joe Burrow, what wide receiver would you want to throw to, and what team would fit the best? I mean, I would almost say Justin Jefferson.
No,
round.
you want to throw to CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy because those are the 2 best options.
All right, I'm going realistic.
Okay, you're going to want to throw to CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy because we're talking about best team fit.
Okay.
Honestly, you probably want to go to Carolina so you can stick with Joe Brady, or more likely, you want to go to the Saints or the Patriots because you want to work with Sean Payton or Bill Belichick. With that said, he's going to the Bengals, just so we're clear.
Okay. Let's go to Zay going live. With teams going crazy for quarterbacks this year, in a reach situation, what's the highest you could see Hurts getting drafted? In my opinion, has a huge upside.
If you can up his processing, there definitely is upside there. But there's also a path to him being a low-end starter, I think, fairly easily because of his running ability. The earliest I see him going, and I don't think he does, but you're talking earliest, if there's a crazy run, late first round to a team like the Saints. And you go Jalen Hurts, Taysom Hill, dual quarterback system.
Oh, boy.
That's fun. I'm having fun here, guys.
I don't know. To me, I just don't see the upside in Jalen Hurts. I think he's just a backup. Let's go to Jason. What up, Jason? Appreciate the super chat. What third-round prospect will my Seahawks overvalue at the 27th pick in this year's draft? Rashad Penny. If you guys want to see a picture of why Tom's picture is the way it is on Twitter.
Yeah, fun fact,
it's
Jason.
Rashad Penny.
My Twitter profile pick is when Seattle picked Rashad Penny. So this is first off, it's rare to see Seattle fans acknowledge this, and I respect the hell out of it, my friend. A great question. That's kind of the issue, right, is that you don't know who they're going to end up taking. They're not going to go corner because they never seem to go corner, even though I think they should have for years now. So probably a defensive lineman who's maybe not the bendiest guy, but can fit in as a DT or defensive end. Here's a name I'll throw out at you. How about Marlon Davidson, who I have more of a round 2 prospect? How about Marlon Davidson out of Auburn to play base defensive end or DT in that scheme?